Max Verstappen is required to pay over $1 million for his 2024 F1 Super license, while Logan Sargent will pay less than $15,000 for the exact same license. The F1 Super license is a crucial document that permits a driver to participate in Formula One races. To qualify for this license, drivers must undergo various steps, including passing physical and mental tests, demonstrating experience and skill in other racing categories, and meeting age and nationality requirements. This licensing system, established since the inception of F1 competition in 1950, aims to ensure that individuals who could pose a threat to the sport are excluded. Additionally, it prevents wealthy individuals from simply buying a license and potentially causing issues within the sport. Let's get into the peculiar cost structure of F1 Super licenses. In this rather unconventional system, the most accomplished drivers end up paying the highest fees for their licenses. The pricing is determined by the driver's performance in the preceding year, with a base fee of about $11,000. For every point earned by a driver in the 2023 season, an additional $2,250 is added to their license fee. Taking Max Verstappen as an example, who accumulated 575 points, his 2024 license fee is an astounding $1,325,000. To put this into perspective, this sum could have purchased 20 Mustangs, 10 Porsche 911 Carreras, 3 McLaren 720S, or 2 Ferrari SF90 Spiders. Interestingly, the drivers themselves don't bear the financial burden of these license fees. Instead, the responsibility falls on the teams. Red Bull, for instance, will be covering just over $1.9 million for their driver's licenses in 2024, since Perez's license will cost about $660,000. Despite the considerable expense, it's worth noting that the team's success in earning 860 points in 2023 secured the Constructors' Championship, resulting in a substantial prize money of around $137 million. In the grand scheme, teams would gladly pay the license fees for their drivers, given the significant returns and prestige associated with winning championships. To obtain an F1 Super license, drivers must be at least 18 years old and possess a valid racing license from their home country. It's worth noting that Max Verstappen obtained his license at the age of 17, but the current age criteria of 18 was not in place at that time. The qualification for a super license involves earning a certain number of points in the FIA Super License point system, which is based on a driver's performance in various junior categories of motorsports, including Formula 2, Formula 3, and even IndyCar. As for drivers like Pato O'Ward, who participated in an FP1 session in Abu Dhabi in 2023 and 2022, they don't require an F1 Super license for these sessions. Such sessions are designated for young drivers to gain experience in F1 cars without the need for a super license. However, O'Ward has accumulated enough points to qualify for the super license, providing him with the readiness to step into an F1 car if an opportunity arises in the future. Now, examining the costs for different drivers in obtaining their super licenses for the current year, Lewis Hamilton is set to pay $546,000, Fernando Alonso $482,000, and Charles Leclerc the same figure. Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz just under $480,000, George Russell a bit over $411,000. Oscar Piastri a little over $233,000, then down to Lance Stroll about $180,000, Pierre Gasly about $153,000, Esteban Ocon $144,000, Alex Albon $73,000, Yuki Tsunoda $50,000, Valtteri Bottas $34,000, Nico Hülkenberg a little less at $31,900, Daniel Ricciardo and Zhou Guanyu both at $35,000, Kevin Magnussen $18,000, and Logan Sargent the bargain for $13,600. The total revenue generated by the FIA from these license fees amounts to nearly $5.9 million. This substantial sum is utilized for various purposes, with a significant portion directed towards safety improvements within the sport. Now, let's examine the comparison between last year's license fees and those for the current year, 2022 versus 2023. Max Verstappen remains the highest paying driver, with an increase from the previous year. However, the most significant hike in fees was experienced by Fernando Alonso, whose license fee surged by over $285,000. On the other hand, Charles Leclerc saw the most substantial reduction, with his fees decreasing by $233,200. There is an ongoing debate regarding whether IndyCar should carry more weight in the point system for acquiring a license. Advocates argue that IndyCar demands a high level of skill and involves intense competition, suggesting that it should contribute more significantly towards a driver's eligibility for an F1 super license. Certainly, a driver can face the risk of losing their super license. If a driver hasn't participated in a minimum of 8 F1 races within the preceding 3 years, or hasn't accumulated at least 6 points in the FIA World Championship during that time frame, they would be required to reapply. This reapplication process involves undergoing physical and mental tests and meeting age and nationality requirements once again. Similar to the consequences associated with a regular road driver's license, F1 drivers can also temporarily lose their super license due to disciplinary actions imposed by the stewards. Specifically, if a driver accumulates a loss of 12 points within a 12-month period, they will face a ban from participating in one race. Let's examine the current distribution of penalty points among the drivers. Sergio Perez leads with the highest count at 7 points, followed by Logan Sargent with 6, Lance Stroll with 5, and both Mercedes drivers holding 4 each. Yuki Tsunoda has 3 points, while Nico Hülkenberg, Valtteri Bottas, Carlos Sainz, Max Verstappen, and Zhou Guanyu each have 2 points. It's noteworthy that the rest of the drivers maintain clean slates, and it's important to highlight that these penalty points expire 12 months after accumulation under the existing system. In retrospect, some legendary F1 drivers and champions would not have qualified for a super license by today's standards. Notable names like Fernando Alonso, Daniel Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel, and Max Verstappen would have missed out on joining Formula One at the time they entered the sport. Each of them fell short in meeting the age, years of racing, and points accumulation criteria. This hypothetical scenario would have been a significant loss to the sport. And with that, we've covered the essential aspects of F1 super licenses. If you enjoyed this information, please hit the like button and subscribe. For more F1 content, stay tuned. Thank you for watching and keep the passion alive.